Anybody who says money doesn't make you happy has not given enough away.
Welcome to the Legacy Branding Podcast. I'm your host, Laura Beauparlant, here to guide you through the journey of selling your business and building a personal brand that leaves a lasting impact. On the show, we'll explore real-life founder stories, expert insights, and actionable strategies to help you navigate the transition, avoid post-sale crisis, and create your impact-driven legacy brand. Whether you're thinking of selling, building to sell, or already on the other side, this podcast is your go-to resource for making your next evolution your best one yet. Let's dive in. Today, I'm excited to welcome Johann Nogueira to the Legacy Branding Podcast. Johann is an entrepreneur, tech investor, and public speaker passionate about leveraging technology to accelerate business growth. Over the past 2 decades, he has built many successful ventures, including Business Authorities and Prospect Falcon, focusing on AI-powered lead generation and business scaling systems. Johann's mission extends beyond business success. He's driven by commitment to philanthropy and creating lasting impact through innovation. His unique approach helps entrepreneurs transform their businesses into valuable, scalable assets while giving back to the community. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, Laura.
We had our first conversation not too long ago and immediately hit it off. And it was such an amazing conversation. And I'm so excited to have you here sharing your insights on not just the businesses that you sold and your entrepreneurial journey, but what you were doing with AI and helping businesses really thrive and grow through lead generation. I was completely blown away. So I'm selfishly excited for this conversation just to learn more and really dive into that even deeper.
Yeah, for sure. And happy to share anything and everything. Just ask me and you can take it from there.
Absolutely. So you've built and sold multiple successful businesses, and it doesn't seem like you're stopping. You've got multiple businesses right now. So what has inspired you to continue building and growing when you don't necessarily need to?
It is the most exciting time in the entire period of human history to be alive. Every day, getting access to the tools that we have now is absolutely mind-blowing. We can, I believe, live 1,000 lifetimes in what we are doing right now. So if you compare us to our ancestors, if you think about what we can achieve, things that even a year ago would take 6 months to do, we can now do in days. I'm going to give you a quick little example. We had a little module that we needed built, and we put it out for tender. And we had 3 people come back. And this is just a tiny little add-on, 3 dev houses. One came back at 60,000, the other one came back at 90,000, one came back at 70,000. And all of them had 3 months. So I was talking to one of my friends about this, and he said, dude, did you know that there's an AI for that? I was like, what do you mean? On Samsung, and we're on Zoom, and within 5 minutes, he has built out 80% of this project, which everybody else had quoted 3 months for. And I was sitting there going, oh my God, like things have changed. Platforms no longer. Before, the barrier of entry was, I've got this great idea. It's going to take a year to build this mobile app, or it's going to take a year to build this website, or whatever it is. And now within seconds, you can have it. And having access to the hive mind, the smartest people on the planet, when has that ever happened before? So it is the most exciting time in our life to be alive, to be in business, to be able to build, grow, and scale companies. Sam Altman said that we're going to see $1 billion. And so now that's what we're watching happening. There's little micro SaaSes that are growing faster than you've ever seen. I started my journey back in 2004. Back then, I had a PayPal account to take money. I had Aweber to be able to send out some emails, and I had Dreamweaver, right, to build websites. Those 3 technologies. That was it. And now, I think the marketing technology platform says more than 10,000 just in that one space. In the last 2 years in AI, it's about 12,000. So it's already caught up in 2 years what we achieved in 20 years. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And it's really scary for a lot of people, right? You think about those businesses that quoted you for that 3 months worth of work and that revenue, that's all gone. So I think it is a lot of people, conversations I have range from outright fear and outrage to like really embracing it and excited about it. And I'm definitely more skewed on the excited about it. I don't necessarily fully use or understand all the capabilities,
And I know too that in a business like branding and design, there are AIs that can design you a logo and can design you a website. And so what can we start to do to leverage AI? And I am doing that, but I know that there's other things that even I could be doing so that we also don't become obsolete.
It's what happened back in 1996, I think, when we got access to the internet, around there, when it became proficient throughout the entire globe. And everybody said, oh my God, this is not good for university students and they all want to cheat and all this kind of stuff. And it didn't change. It made us smarter. It gave us access to more information. We evolved as a race, I believe. When you're talking about becoming obsolete, our sales team, so we had 12 people on our sales team. Had is the keyword there. We're down to 2. The reason being that AI can close faster, better deals than the sales team. And so it did make the other 10 obsolete. They now moved on into supporting roles and customer success roles. So we don't lose jobs. People just get reallocated when new technology comes about. And so that's what we believe there.
Well, and I think it creates new jobs. I remember having this conversation with our kids even years ago. Now they're teenagers, saying like the jobs or the careers or the businesses they'll build don't even exist
Yeah.
yet. And so it's so interesting to me to see, even in high school, like the career study class, it looks exactly the same as it did in the 90s when I was in high school. The career options, I'm like, we're so out of date with this that it's irrelevant. And it is the creativity and leveraging it as a tool. And I actually am teaching my kids. My husband and I are both teaching them how to use AI as a tool, not to replace their critical thinking skills.
So 2 years ago, when we all got access to the likes of Midjourney and ChatGPT, every January we're on the beach. So we're in Australia, we're on the beach. January, that's part of what we do. So we're walking on the beach,
Yep.
and at this point in time, it's me, my kids, my cousin, his 2 kids. So there's 4 kids, 2 guys. The wives all said, good luck. You've got the kids, we're going out for brunch. So they went out to a winery and they're doing their thing. Now, at this point in time, I get a text message, my cousin gets a text message, and it's from one of our other cousins who, unfortunately, her 3-year-old has cancer. And so she said, hey, can you please make a $50 donation to this charity, et cetera, et cetera. It's about cancer research. And so obviously that has a massive impact. And we turned around to the kids and said, hey, look, your cousin has got this and we need to raise some money. What can we do to add value to the marketplace? And my son is 6 at this point in time. He says, 7. And he goes, hey, why don't we build a board game? Like, you can see there's lots of board games around. We love playing board games. I said, okay, cool. And then we went back home, and within 2 hours, we had a concept for a board game. Within 2 days, we had built out a board game. Now, prior to AI, it would cost about $200,000 to build and launch a board game. So here we are. We launched a Kickstarter campaign, which now funds get donated to different causes. And so that's the reason for the board games. The kids can express their creativity. Another quick story, my son goes into Midjourney, he'll build out a character, and these are the coolest looking characters. So he's learned how to prompt engineer at the age of 8 years old. So, and prompt engineer, he's typing in octopus head with shark fins, with things that you would never type in. And so he's typed these things in, creates this amazing character. Then he goes into ChatGPT, makes a story about it, and he turns it into cards, and he goes to his friends, and now they're creating collectible cards with stories that they've made up, which with these characters that don't exist. And they're trading it. And now he's like, ooh, this is an ultra rare one. I'm like, who decides what's ultra rare? He's like, me. So it's quite funny watching them have access to the tools and then use these tools to come up with new concepts and then see it go through his entire school.
So what I'm hearing is that AI is not just transforming existing businesses, but it gives this opportunity for creatives, especially, to try new ideas and have access to things that they wouldn't have had access to before, which is, I think, what makes
100%. We've never lived in a time like this before. We've got access to anything that you can imagine, and sometimes even better than you can imagine. You can play with it, conceptualize it, ideate it, and then even test launch it.
So how does Prospect Falcon fit into this evolution of AI? I would love for you to share about it because your enthusiasm and excitement is infectious.
Awesome. So 13 years ago, my business partner used to sell this software on CD. Now, when I talk about CDs, people are like, what are CDs? It's showing you that I'm getting, I'm like, what do you mean, what are CDs?
I know what CDs are.
So I used to sell this at trade shows on CDs. And so we met 6 years ago. He interviewed me on his podcast. And from there, we became friends. And every 3 months, he'd be messaging me saying, hey, let's do something. And I was always too busy. And then this one time, so we had COVID lockdowns over here. You remember that crazy time?
Oh, yes.
And we were, so where I am, we were locked down for 9 months. And we weren't allowed to leave 5 kilometers from our house. It was insane. Like, I can't even believe all that. So we were let out for a week. And I was like, boom, I'm on a plane. I'm out of here. So we jumped on a plane, the family. We flew up to the Gold Coast. And I messaged, well, I'm like, hey, I'm in the Gold Coast. You want to have breakfast tomorrow? 6 a.m. because my family wakes up at 8 o'clock. And he's like, yep, cool, let's go. So we meet up and we sit down and I'm like, so tell me about what you're doing. And he shows me the software. And my mind, when he showed it to me, I just said, no way. Now, this is 4 years ago. Back then, it blew me away. But after that breakfast, neither of us could sleep because we were like, oh my God, there's something amazing here. We became business partners, I think within a month. And I said, hey, here it is in writing. You can kick me out of the company until the end of December. I'm going to work with you for the next 8 months. I'm going to show you what I'm made of. And then we can talk about a real on paper partnership. Here we are 4 years later, and the company is just growing and growing and growing. And so every day we're leaping forward and having a partnership with somebody who's just as excited as you are, who can work as hard as you are, it just amplifies everything. So Prospect Falcon is a byproduct of ChatGPT. So 4 months ago, our primary company is called whitelabelsuite.com. And we white label our software to agencies, digital agencies. And we have for the last 4 years. So I go for a walk and everybody was talking about, oh, this cool new feature on ChatGPT where you can talk to it. Usually when I go for a walk with my puppy, I'm talking to my friends. It's a good catch-up time. So I go for a walk and I turn on the ChatGPT and I start talking to it and I say, hey, by next December, I need you to make me an extra $10 million. Here is my company. Here's my people. Here's my resources. Here's your budget. Here's what we want to achieve, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I literally talked to it for 20 minutes. So it was a 20-minute long prompt. And then for the next 2 hours, it talks back to me and we're ideating and coming back with different ideas of how we can do all these things. The crux of it, of that summary of 2 hours was, hey, you're targeting digital agencies, but you're targeting GHL digital agencies. Why not target every salesperson in America, for example? And I went, wow, oh my God, it's so obvious why did you never think of that? And I said, I don't want people running the company. I want it to be lean just to see how it runs. So it came up with 4 bots. So 4 robots that would run this entire company. So Prospect Falcon is an experiment. By the end of the month 1, I think it did approximately 120,000. But it's running with 4 robots and 1 VA just to make sure that the robots aren't saying anything silly. The message is the simplest thing. So our software, what it does is it finds your ideal client, reaches out to them, has a conversation, directs them to a page somewhere. And then from there, the actions happen. And then robot number 2 takes over, which is a chat bot. And the voice bot is number 3. And number 4 onboards them, supports them, and upsells them. So those are our 4 robots. The message that goes out is as simple as this. Hey, Laura, you're in sales. We've got a brand new AI. It's in beta. Would love for you to come check it out. There's a 3-minute video, and here's a $50 coupon just in case you want to get started. That's the email. So people are clicking, coming, watching the 3-minute video, asking any questions to the chatbot, or requesting a callback, and the AI is closing them. And it's doing 10, 15, 20 sales. And that's what I was saying at the start. The human salespeople could have 5 or 6 calls at their max capacity per day. Whereas this thing can have 50, 60, 100. It doesn't matter. It can have 1,000 calls at the same time, apparently. So infinite capacity.
Yeah, infinite. So that leads me to my next question about entrepreneurs often getting stuck as the main person in their business. I would raise my hand to that. I am the main person. I'm the person everybody comes to. I am the cog that keeps things turning. So this is for other people, but this is also selfish for me. How does this approach help business owners with the scalability and building self-sustaining companies that they're still a part of, but doesn't require them at every turn.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been in business since I'm showing my age.
Me too. That's when I started my business.
Hey. So a bit,
We're the same vintage.
so I believe that, hey, without me, this business doesn't run. Guess what? It's not a business. You're just self-employed, right? Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, he talks about ESBI, employee to self-employed, business owner to investor. And the end goal for anyone in business is to get to the investor stage where you're simply investing. So when I started, I was an employee like most people. And then you go from an employee to self-employed, you start your own business, but the business doesn't run without you. And this was me for probably 15 of those years. Then I realized when I met my wife, she goes, hey, this is us when we're dating. She'd come over to my house. By the way, my house was filled with people. Back then, we were in the middle of the city. It's an apartment. There was all these people around. So this is 12 years ago. And she'd be like, hey, you want to go on a picnic? I'm like, what do you mean? It's Monday morning. What do you mean go on a picnic? And I'm sitting there scratching my head going, oh no, I think I might have messed up here. I thought she was a business owner. Because when we met at a wedding and she told me she was a business owner, we started dating. And then here she is a couple of weeks later at my house saying, do you want to go on a picnic? I'm like, what do you mean? Anyway, so a couple of days later, she comes back. She's like, do you want to go for a drive in the country? I'm like, it's a Tuesday morning. What do you mean? Do you not work? She's like, what do you mean? I'm a business owner. I have people who are working. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, damn it. I'm self-employed, right? So then I had to build systems in order to be able to be free from my business and become a business owner where the business runs without me. So having key people in place, no one is ever going to do it as good as you or I. But if they can do it 80% as good as you or I, then at least things are getting done. So one of my missions was to hire the right people. So getting the right people on the bus was paramount, and finding and building the right team. Now we can execute and grow and scale. I could never have achieved what we've achieved just in this last 6 months if it was just me. I'd still be sitting down trying to run an email campaign because I'm a control freak. I'm like, hey, we're going to run an event. I'm going to write out the campaign. I'm going to build out the landing page. I'm going to invite all the people. I'm going to go and get all the sponsors. But now it's, hey, we've got a team. Guys, I need the campaign done. I need the website up. And then literally I go to sleep. I wake up and everything's 80% done. And I'm like, oh, can you tweak this? Can you tweak that? And it gets done. And so I'm sitting here going, wow, that's amazing.
So are there specific roles you would say are essential to that? Like AI aside, I think AI is a component of this, but are there specific hires that you think are really key?
100%. So throughout all businesses, the most successful businesses, now let's talk about the primary level team. For any business to run, you need the artist. So in our business, Walter is the artist. He's the one building the technology, and that's his baby. And as I said, he's been building it for 13 years. And every day I wake up and he's like, ooh, guess what? I built this new thing. I'm like, did you even sleep? Like, what's going on? Anyway, so he's the artist in the business. He's always creating. In your business, I suspect you're the artist, right? So the artist needs a deal maker. A deal maker is somebody who's out there selling this thing all day long. And then the artist and the deal maker are usually always not at odds in terms of fighting, but they're like, the deal maker just wants to go and sell. And the artist is always saying, no, wait, it's not ready. Not yet. Just give me another day. Give me another 2 days. Give me another week. Give me a month, right? And this is Walt. This is I. I'm like, we got to tell people about this. He's like, not yet. Don't tell. And so then in between there, you need the manager. The manager is key because the manager manages the relationship between the business and all the clients and then everybody else. Once you have those three at the top, now you can build out departments. So now you can build out the sales department. You can build out the marketing department. You can build out the social media campaign with the product. You can now build out the dev team, the ideation, the research, the R&D, all of those, and then management, operations, etc. And so that's how you grow and scale the company. So once you have those three, then you just build.
You talked about staying lean and wanting to have a small team and using AI. So in theory, you could build out those specific roles and then leverage AI for a lot of it.
We can now build out agents. So I can go in there and say, hey, build me my marketing department that is the same as Gary Vaynerchuk's. So any bit of content that I give you, I need to now create content like Gary, for example. I need you to be my business mentor, like Tony. And so you'd name the chat, Tony Robbins. And then you'd say, give him parameters and tell him what to advise on and how. And now it is scary what can be achieved. Actually, ChatGPT just released this last week. They've got projects now. And in each project, you set the parameters, and now I can say, hey, run me a Christmas campaign. And it'll build out the entire Christmas campaign for that product or that department. Here's my finance department. Run my financials. Make sure everything's optimized. Like it's crazy what's come.
Yeah, I think it's hard to even fathom, really. And I think something that you shared, in doing some digging about you, that it's really about helping business owners create lasting businesses that are more than just about profit, which this conversation could all sound like less people, more profit. And some people may challenge that, but I think for you, you'd shared that it's about really creating a broader impact as well and leaving a lasting legacy on families and teams and communities. So can you share a bit of your thoughts on
Yeah, for sure. So definitely it's not about being lean to make more profit. So people say money doesn't make you happy. Anybody who says money doesn't make you happy has not given enough away. So we have a joke in our family. My wife gives it away, and she's building wells and charities, all this kind of stuff. Like, we have so much fun. So it's not all money driven. It's about giving people the tools, educating people so that they can be better. So right now we're employing entire families. There's people who've been impacted in other countries that we've had part of our lives for the last 12 years who worked with us. We're employing their families. We're teaching them how to use AI. We're upskilling them. They are now creating, coming up with better ideas. And because when you give people tools, they think of different things. You and I, again, have 1,000 different things in our heads. Right? But then when you give people the tools and say, this is my mission, this is what I want to achieve, tell me how I can do that. Let's talk in 3 days. Go talk to ChatGPT. Go do some research. Tell me, this is my goal. How can we make that happen? And then they come back empowered and they think about different things. And yes, they're powered with AI, but that just makes it so much better because now you're leveraging not only their brain power and everything upskills. So our ethos in the company is we want to grow our team. So the sales team was an example. We reduced it from 12 down to 2. It was an example of efficiency, but I didn't say we got rid of those people. We moved them around in the company so that they can better serve our clients. They're no longer under pressure. Now they can serve them in a different capacity and make them happier. Okay. So the more people that we can hire, the more communities and families are better. The happier the family is, the kids grow up in a better environment. When they grow up in a peaceful environment, the kids automatically become innovative. Studies have shown that when they're innovative, they are learning more, they are experiencing more, therefore they share more. They are automatically become leaders. And then leaders build more companies and change the world. So that's our little way of changing the world from the family upwards.
I love that. I hadn't heard that about growing up in a peaceful home, you
A
said?
peaceful home, and there's no stress.
Creates more innovation. And what a gift that is.
One of the things that we do in our company is we make sure that everybody plays the game cash flow. So cash flow is a game invented by Robert Kiyosaki, I think in the 90s. And it teaches you about investing. So a lot of the young guys who come into our company at the start, they're like, oh my God, I got this big salary. What am I going to do? Let's go buy cars and go out to
Get a big mortgage.
they at the end of the month, they've got no money. I'm like, dude, I paid you a lot of money. Where's the money? So by playing this simple game, they realize how to invest, how to take their cash flow and turn it into an asset. And it's stuff that we never thought about when we were kids. My parents, they're immigrants into Australia. They were just working. My dad would leave the house at 5 a.m, come back at 8 o'clock at night, be studying until 10. So I never really saw him. He was busy providing for us. 100%. There's nothing that he couldn't have done. But by educating them at the younger age, it creates a greater impact in their whole life.
Yeah. And it's not something that's really taught, not in a school system. We talk to our kids about money and investing and a lot of different things. And we don't pretend to know everything either, but just to at least have the conversations with them, because I think it is so important to teach and to learn financial literacy
And
at a young age.
financial literacy in Australia is really, really bad. And so I make it a point to talk about money. I've got one little quick story.
I love it.
This is one of my favorite. This is awesome. So on Saturdays, I spend time with my daughter. On Sundays, I spend time with my son. Like, they know that those days, like, they get special attention. So my son and I, we go for a walk and we get a juice. We sit down and we talk. And so we're at the juice shop and he's bobbing his head and doing this. And I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm counting. I go, what are you counting? He goes, there's 100 people here. It was a very hot day. I go, yeah. He goes, you paid $10 for my juice. I go, yeah. He goes, there's 100 people here who paid $10 for the juice. I go, yeah. He goes, this business is made $1,000 in 5 minutes. I go, yeah. He goes, how do I make $1,000 in 5 minutes? I said, that's the question. I win.
Yeah.
It's got him thinking at a different level, which just makes me so happy.
It's really about what are the questions that we ask ourselves, and do we need to ask different questions? So we've talked a bit about the business and family, and I feel like this will all tie into my next question, but this is called the Legacy Branding Podcast. So I would love to know, what does legacy mean to you? Is there anything additional to what we've already talked about that is part of a legacy that you're building?
Yeah, for sure. So legacy to me is understanding that your time on this planet is very, very, very short. And so while you have that time, it's a privilege to be able to spend time with amazing people. One of my friends, his name is Paul Dunn. He says, live your legacy. So don't wait until you're gone to have a legacy. Live it now.
Yeah.
Be a reminder, show people, lead the way, show people how it can be done, and then share as much as you can. So we have, in our company, we have an ethos of transparency. Ask me any questions. I'll tell you all the answers. It makes no difference. There are no secrets. So I'll tell you all the technologies we're using. I'll tell you whatever you need to know, because at the end of the day, the more we can share, the more we all benefit. Now, I've had the privilege to be surrounded by successful people and poor people. Now, successful people, I'm talking about mindset. Poor people, I'm talking about mindset. And one of the things I realized is a massive difference in successful people and poor people. One of my friends, I said to him, hey, how you going? He's like, I'm good. I go, so how can I help you get to where you want to go? Who do you need to be connected to? What technology do you need? Let me help you. This is literally probably about 15 years ago. He's like, I've got this great idea, but I'm not going to tell you what the idea is because you have a tech company and you could build this. And I don't want you stealing my idea. And ideas are like buses. There's a new idea every 10 minutes. It makes no difference, but sure. Anyway, I catch up with him a year later. And I'm like, hey, man, how's the idea going? The idea's good, but we're just having kids and stuff. I'll put it off until next year. Great, no problem. Catch up with him year number 3. I'm like, how's the idea going? The economy is not that good, blah, blah, blah. Next year, I'm going to do it. Okay, the 4th year. How are you going? He's like, you know what? They stole my idea. My idea was Uber. I was going to do that. Now, the rich people, successful mindset. Hey, Johann, this is what I'm building. This is what I want to achieve in the next couple of years. This is who I need to be connected to. What do you think? Well, actually, I know exactly who you need to be connected to. Let me go make some introductions. Here's 6 introductions that can help you move closer to your goal. And if you need any help, I'm here. That's the difference between successful mindset and a poor mindset. Poor mindset people want to keep all their ideas and they don't want to share. Whereas successful people just tell you everything. Successful people are always talking about what they're going to do because there are people around them that will say, hey, actually, I can help you get there quicker. Here's how.
Exactly. And that is true. I've seen that in action, where if you ask people what you need, you'd actually be surprised how many people can help you with what you need. And they're willing to give you that guidance or introduction or support. I mean, we got introduced by somebody that we know in a totally different part of the world. I'm in Toronto, you're in Australia, you're in Portugal. And it was like, hey, you guys need to meet. And so I think there isn't a beauty in asking for what it is that you need and sharing what you're doing so that people can actually help you achieve the dreams and goals that you have.
I got to do a massive shout out to Jennifer Hill because he has introduced me to some of the most amazing people on this planet. And every day my inbox is full. And I'm like, Jen, you're amazing. There I am, like 18-hour days squeezing every one of these people in because every one of them are just next level. Like you, I have the honor and privilege to talk to you, and I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much for your insights and your stories. They are amazing. How can people connect with you? Where can they learn about Prospect Falcon or White Label Suites and explore how they could leverage these tools?
Yeah, for sure. So prospectfalcon.com, White Label Suite, White labelsuite.com is our website. Connect with me on Facebook. That's my primary. I'm going to start using LinkedIn, so you can look me up on LinkedIn. Johann Nogueira, Nogueira. Yeah, reach out to me there.
Amazing. And we'll make sure to have all those links in the show notes. Thank you so much for being a guest. This was such an awesome conversation.
Thank you, Laura. You're amazing. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks for tuning into the Legacy Branding Podcast. I hope today's episode has inspired and empowered you on your journey to building a brand that truly matters. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other founders who you think would benefit from listening. And if you're ready to take the next step in building your legacy brand, visit our website, labcreative.ca, to learn more and book a call. Don't forget to join us next time for more conversations that will help you navigate your transition and create your legacy. Until then, I'm Laura Beauparlant.